We are live with the season opening race of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here on iRacing. Welcome on this fabulous Tuesday night. We get to kick off one of the best series on the iRacing service. This series came down to the last race last year for the championship. Unfortunately, our last season champion not able to compete this season, but that just leaves it wide open for the rest of the field to take the crown. My name is Austin Edstrom. I am alongside Brian Britt and Austin Derbyshire down in the production booth. Brian, how are you doing today? What are you expecting from tonight's race?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if I could match that energy level that you have there, but I'm definitely looking forward to this one for sure. Texas, I know it's one of the favorites for this league, and I expect we're going to see a lot of action here around this mile-and-a-half track. Of course, looking at the ambient temperature, looks like about 78 degrees. But looking, I do believe on the track temp, it's about 107, so kind of hot here. But this is Texas, so you expect a little bit of heat out here on the racetrack. But I think this is the most participants we've had in a Champion Power Equipment Truck Series race. So I am very, very much excited. But I do think this is going to be very much a tricky track when it comes to saving tire and fuel.
Yeah, 27 drivers out here tonight. I mean, really impressive field to come out for the season opener tonight at Texas. You know, a track that most people don't like in real life, but honestly, Champion puts on a great show every single time we come to Texas. Last season's race here at the Lone Star State was an absolute banger. So I'm expecting more of the same here tonight, especially with the track temp being 107 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's going to be slick. That track temp's probably going to climb a little bit throughout the rest of the day as well. But we're going to go ahead and move straight into our, I believe our schedule is what we got up next up, because we do not have any points with it being the first race of the season. I believe we're going to knocking over to our schedule for the rest of the week. Oh, just kidding. We're just going to talk about our schedule, but guess what? I don't have the schedule, so there. I appreciate that, Darby. Picks to the race. Well, picks to the race. We're going to move to that. Brian, I'd like to know your keys to the race. Who you're picking to win this thing?
Well, I think that the keys to the race, of course, are going to be, I think, managing your resources. Of course, from what I've been told, the fuel window is about 45 to 50 laps, I think, is around where you can make it on a tank of gas. Of course, it's a 110-lap race, so that doesn't add up. It sounds like we're going to have to see 2 stops in this race. Of course, there are going to be possibility of cautions. We do have a whole lot of new drivers in here, so I suspect we'll probably see a caution at some point during this event that'll kind of throw things, a little bit of a wrench into things. Of course, 3 sets of tires down in the pits for these guys to change. But I think that's going to be the big thing. Of course, 1 and 2, you're going to be backing up that corner quite a bit. 3 and 4, you're going to be able to go through there wide open pretty much. And I think that's going to be where a lot of the opportunity to burn your tires up is going to come from 3 and 4. So I think tires are going to be something we're going to really have to look for. One thing, I do have a little bit of a ringer in this race, Austin. James Harris says this is his favorite track, and right now he's on the top of the board.
Yeah, I want to point out, closer to the bottom of the running order right now, he is not late a qualifying lap in. Is that the real Timothy Peters that has joined the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series down here? I believe that is multiple truck time winner Timothy Peters.
Yeah,
I might have to get some fact checking on that, because that might be pretty cool if we got a former Truck Series driver in here. But either way, still a strong field, whether it is or not. Every single race that we saw in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series last year was absolutely great. We do have a competition caution, I do believe. Do we know what lap they have set that
Actually, we
today?
do not have a competition caution.
Oh, they changed the rules on me, man!
That tonight we will not be having a competition caution. But that is interesting. I would not be surprised to see an actual truck driver in this series. I do believe a couple seasons ago we saw Grant Enfinger actually participate in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series race.
All right, well, not tonight, but hey, that makes sense with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. But we're going to run down our starting lineup of the night. We have finished qualifying. We are starting to grid up here. First place, going to be James Harris. Great start to the season. Second place, Keegan Sabilo. Well, I believe he finished second in the championship standings last year. Now, with the last year champion Justin Levine not showing up, Keegan Sabilo could be the favorite. Third place, Brian Lorenzano. Fourth, Andrew Hale. Fifth, Sean Bounty. Nicholas Casey in sixth. Jason Taylor and Tyler Meeks round out row 4, while Brian Toole and Heath Snyder round out your top 10.
Luke Mahone in 11th place. Gar Snyder. Wonder if he's any relation. No, probably not, because they do spell Snyder a little different there in 12th. George Young in 13th. Brad Thacker 14th. William Mann Jr. In 15th. Stephen Pless in 16th. Larry Fairman in 17th. EJ DeBoer, I do believe that's how you say that name. I'm going to have to get used to some of them, in 18th. Sam Swope in 19th. 20th. Amir Boscombe, I think that's how you say that name, in 20th.
21st is going to be Dan Hulawig. 22nd, Anthony Ford. 23rd, Jeff No. 24th is John Lacido, with Robert Wynn following right behind in 25th. Timothy Peters in 26th, and Ray Kinnison rounding out your 27-car field. And right as we're about to get rolling here for the green flag, 30 seconds until we see that pace car take off, unless we get everybody gridded, I'm going to run through our presenting sponsor here tonight, Champion Power Equipment. Because this broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American market. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. We'd like to thank Champion Power Equipment, as always, for sticking around with this season, or sticking around for this series for another season. Always awesome to see them on the side of the 55 right here, and obviously on the broadcast. Thank you to Champion for being here once again.
Yeah, and at the top of the board, too, so they're very much being represented well here. I know just James Harris was very, very confident whenever I talked to him. Of course, I texted him back and forth a little bit on Discord, and he was saying that this is his favorite track. He's really going after a victory. So wouldn't that be something to see Champion Power Equipment, in the victory lane? That would be something to see for sure. And they are a long time sponsor for sure. So we definitely appreciate all that they do. I can't wait to see this duel between Keegan Sabilo and Harris. What does Sabilo do? Austin, you're a racer. You know this track. What do you do when you start on the high side there? Going into 1 and 2?
You give it up, and then you try to undercut them and get back to the bottom side before you get down to turn 3 and try to get under them. There's really nothing you can do on the outside of 1 and 2 unless they just completely mess up from the pole spot. Now he's going to get a good jump because that inside line does not get to control the race start on the initial start. They do have to wait until the green flag. So King and Sabilo will probably have a pretty decent jump, but through 1 and 2 with how flat that racetrack is, or how flat those corners are, I really don't see Sabilo hanging on.
Now, I do know 1 and 2, you do have a little bit of freedom that you can go a little bit, maybe not, remain off throttle for as long. But I think that is at the sacrifice of your tires. So we'll see how that kind of plays out.
James Harris leading us to the first green flag of the season, welcoming in 2024 in style with the Champion Power Equipment truck leading the way to the green flag for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. James Harris with a huge start easily takes the lead going down to turn 1.
Yeah, what a start. I mean, he pulled away from about 3 or 4 truck links right now. Now side by side for second place, Brian Lorenzo, I do believe, side by side with the 77. Of course, the 77, Keegan Sabilo able to get a pretty solid run on the exit at 2. Down the backstretch, you see the 99 getting a little bit tight up to the side of the 77. A lot of battles coming to fruition here. You see, I do believe Nicholas Casey trying to get side by side with Sean Boundy on the high side in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and as they're fighting back further in the pack, Keegan Sabilo able to take that P2 spot, now diving down to the inside of James Harris, entering turn number 1, trying to get that nose under him through the center of the corner. It looks like he's going to get there. James Harris just a little bit out of the groove, skating a little bit high coming out of turn 2, but he actually gets a pretty good run off as Sabilo's just going to have to give the position back up, going down into 3.
Yeah, I saw some drivers losing a little bit of positions too. Andrew Hale seemed like he had some a little bit of woes back there. 3 wide condition. We're seeing a lot of guys battling quite hard here. Texas is not disappointing us thus far, as we see Tyler Meeks, I think, has moved up into the 7th place position. But here comes James Harris driving away. Now as here comes Nicholas Casey on the high side of the 77.
And Nicholas Casey kind of out of nowhere here, able to get to the outside of Keegan Sabilo through turns 1 and 2. Did a really good job getting a good run out the exit 2, able to still be on his outside through the back straightaway. Actually has a little bit of a nose ahead through 3 and 4, trying to use the momentum on the outside. As Sabilo has a little bit of a wiggle. That red and white truck might be able to have the run coming off the corner. Actually, they might be 3 wide in the middle of the front straightaway, but Casey able to kind of stay ahead of Lorenzo there in that P4 truck, who's now found that side-by-side battle with Keegan Sabilo for P3.
Yeah, I think Sabilo's kind of in a bad spot right now. You could tell he got a little bit loose there off of turn 2. Now he's going to be under fire from Sean Boundy. Of course, Sean Boundy always has been a big talent when it comes to any broadcast that he's on with the Group Vision Network. So I do suspect he's going to get right by Sabilo. He's now up into the top 5, into 4th place. Sabilo, I think in a lot of ways, the alarm is going off right now, probably in his mind, because he is getting passed left and right. Here comes Tyler Meeks. Meeks up into the top 5. What a great start to the season for him in the 7.
I get why you're saying that about Sabilo, and I agree with Meeks. He's doing a really good job working up through the field here this early in the going. But Sabilo, with how hard he's dropping, he doesn't have any damage. I think he's just saving tires. I think he's playing a little bit of strategy right off the rip here. I think he's just saving that right front and making sure that he can make a long, long distance on this first set of tires.
Well, one thing I do have to mention, and I can see why you would probably say that, but I know that in a lot of ways, Sabilo, he is weak at tracks like this. Bigger tracks, he's not so good at these. He's always been a short track talent. As you see, a big loose condition there from Sean Boundy. Almost loses it, gathers it back up. As we see 3 wide, as I do believe that's Heath Snyder trying to pass by Jason Taylor.
Yeah, Heath Snyder a little bit further back in the pack than I would have expected in the early going. I know he's a pretty quick racer, fighting for that 9th place position right now. Sorry, the 8th place position. Able to take that away as he's looking to the inside right here of the driver of the 5. Actually, that's the driver of the 6. My mistake in the Valvoline machine. Both Schneiders, just different types of Schneiders. Heath Snyder taking that position away. Move him up to P8. Now he's looking at Keegan Sabilo. Like you said, he is struggling. I was a little bit worried because I've seen Sabilo be so fast, like you mentioned, on the short tracks. Typically, that does carry over a lot, but to your point, he has struggled a lot on the 1.5 miles comparatively. He still had speed, but yeah, I'm surprised to see him drop back this early, or this far this early, though, even on a 1.5 miles.
Well, I think he's going to learn. I think he's going to definitely be able to get. He's been at this track before, so it's not like this is his first time. I think last season might have been a lot of firsts for him, but I don't think that's going to be the case this season. as I think he's got it gathered back up a little bit here. Maybe a little bit of the rubbers, rubbed off those tires, but he is going to try to hold off to 29. As we see, of course, Andrew Hale, he fell outside of the top 5. He was back in 8th place. He's recovered nicely. He's up to 5th right now as James Harris still in control. I'm wondering how much the clean air is going to how valuable that's going to be, and I think it's going to be very valuable considering the new build, the dynamic track that we're seeing. It seems like it makes it more valuable. So we see a big issue there for the 7 of Tyler Meeks. He loses it, able to gather it back up, but he's in danger of losing the top 10.
Yeah, a big moment on the exit of turn 2. Tyler Meeks now side by side with the Ryko machine on his outside. That's Mahoney and the 27. He's going to drop all the way back to the 10th place position, find a spot right in front of Taylor. So not too bad, right? I mean, he was running about 6th place, but man, you hate to lose, a chunk of spots that early in the, or this early in the going, and probably wear out those tires a little bit with a little bit of a slide. But now Heath Snyder looking at the outside of Sabilo. Sabilo is still dropping. He's got Heath Snyder, and then he's got Garth Snyder right behind him, ready to pick up the pieces. Sabilo is struggling in the early going.
Yeah, he definitely is. I don't know if he just doesn't seem to be able to get the rhythm going at this track. And it's not really a surprise. This track is very odd when it comes to 1.5 miles. I mean, especially 1 and 2. You run 1 and 2 completely different than you run 3 and 4. And a lot of other 1.5 miles, you kind of have some sort of, I'd say, I don't know the word, probably symmetry, I think is a word you would probably use for some 1.5 miles. This is not one of those tracks. You really have to, be on your toes when it comes to tackling 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. They're vastly different corners.
Yeah, and typically your driving style works really well in one of them and really does not work in the other one. I'm telling you that from experience. I mean, turn 1 and 2 can be so frustrating because you've got so much racetrack that you feel like you could just arc into the corner, have a really late exit down, and have a straight run off. But the problem with that is if you turn in too late, you're never getting to the bottom, and then you just lose tenths and tenths and tenths before you even get off that corner, as it just feels like it lasts forever. And then 3 and 4, you're barely even off the throttle. You're just, 60, 70% flipping it, and then getting right back on that thing and flying it out of the corner down into turn 1 once again. Oh, was there a little bit of contact coming off the turn 4?
Yeah, a little bit of contact with the wall there. Tyler Meeks gets up into the outside wall out of turn 4, as we see, of course, Andrew Hale, I do believe, giving up a spot to Heath Snyder. Snyder now tries to cross over, but of course, Snyder and Hale are getting ready to be under fire, I do believe, from Luke Mahone here. That 27 is looking incredibly fast in that Sim Magic Ryko machine.
Yeah, Heath Snyder and Luke Mahone have both picked up multiple positions from the beginning of this race. Heath Snyder started in the 10th place, now running in 5th. Luke Mahone started in 11th, now running in 7th, and trying to take away 6 from Andrew Hale. But I gotta kind of look up to the front of the field. James Harris is starting to lose touch of that lead. Sean Bounty is reeling him in lap after lap. Heck, just at the stripe, it was a 3.6 of a second gap. It's already down to 2.4 in the middle of 3 and 4. So Sean Bounty, he is reeling in our race leader, James Harris.
And I think a lot of that could be attributed to, James is in the lead. So he is kind of having to run his own race in a lot of ways. He doesn't have anybody to really judge himself on. And when you're at a track
like this, loose!
Yeah,
sorry.
Talking about the 34, I do believe with Sean Bounty just got incredibly loose. Now he's going to get passed by Nicholas Casey. We were just talking about, how good the 34 has been doing. But I bet you the 55 of Harris just probably breathed quite a sigh of relief there as we see a big battle starting to come to head here for that 3rd place position. Lorenzo now going to try to get by the 34. So the 34 is looking great, and all of a sudden something just went wrong.
Yeah, and I've got to shout out to what you said earlier. I think that was the dirty air through the middle of 1 and 2. I think Bounty was having to just tug on the wheel a little bit harder to keep in the tire tracks of the 55 on the older tires as the lap truck hits the outside wall on the outside of Bounty there. A little bit of a scary moment. But I think that dirty air just kind of cost him. I think he had to get a little bit too much wheel into it while he was getting back to the gas through the center of the corner. And it looked like a pretty lazy spin, but it took him a while to catch that spin. So it did lose him a lot of time falling back to that P4 position. And he lost himself about a second's worth of time to the race leader.
Yeah, and I'm even seeing that it is impacting his lap times right now. I mean, 31.8, and that was after a lap after that issue. So I think that maybe that'll hurt his tires. So he's probably trying to cool them down right now. But speaking of that, I'm starting to see a lot of fall off from everybody in this field. We're seeing some guys hitting 32-second laps. We're seeing some that are hitting, of course, about a half a second or 0.8 slower than their fastest laps. We're 17 laps into this run right now, but now here comes James Harris running away. Over a second gap right now he has. As we're watching this battle, I do believe Andrew Hale, Luke Mahone. Mahone trying to take the top side in 1 and 2.
I'm a little conflicted with James Harris because he was getting caught and he was about 9/8 of a second consistently off his fastest lap. But that last lap, he just found 3/10 out of absolutely nowhere and ran 3/10 faster than he had been running. So James Harris really inconsistent in the early going, but if he can find those consistent 31.1s this late in the run, he's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, and I think what that might have been, Austin, I think he might have been managing his gap. Like, I think he might have just been looking at his review and like, okay, let me let Bounty get a little bit close. And maybe he was even playing with the dirty air a little bit to kind of mess with Bounty. Because that's one thing you could do. You could kind of defend an offense in a way at the same time by using the dirty air as a weapon. And I think that maybe that's what Harris was doing. And also at the same time maintaining the gap so he doesn't burn his tires up.
He very well could have been, but now I kind of want to look at Heath Snyder, Sean Bounty, Nicholas Casey for that P3 position. Bounty trying to get it back from Casey. He's the one that he had originally lost the P2 spot from, as Lorenzo has actually passed Nicholas Casey for the P2 spot, but Bounty trying to make up for lost time, and Heath Snyder trying to take advantage of Bounty being a little slow off the corner, trying to attack.
Yeah, it does look like Bounty is still struggling. He has not recovered quite yet. Nicholas Casey is struggling as well. 32.028 last time by. He was 2/10 or more slower than the guys around him. So watch out for this 86 to start dropping through this field. He definitely needs to work on his long run speed a little bit. I think these guys are probably hoping that they get some sort of caution. But unfortunately, there's not a competition caution. Most of the time in Champion, around this time, we would see that, but nothing is really going to save these guys right now unless there is some unfortunate events when it comes to an accident. So they are really learning some lessons, and they're going to have to hope something kind of cleans the etch-a-sketch here.
I thought Nicholas Casey was about to clean the etch-a-sketch. He was loose coming off of turn 4, but somebody who looks really good is Heath Snyder, making passes left and right, moving up to that 4th place position, and his line just looks really smooth through both corners. Through 1 and 2, yeah, he misses the bottom just a little bit, but I don't know. He's kind of saving a little bit of time by not getting all the way down there. You'd have to let off the gas just a little bit more. He's only about half a lane off, keeping that momentum all the way down the back, and now into turn 3, looks really, really good down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's not fighting that wheel at all either, just being really smooth on the gas, and you can see Casey fighting it the entire way.
Yeah, no, he definitely seems like he knows exactly what he's doing. I love that cockpit camera we're able to see. And me and you both know Heath. I mean, Heath has always been a talented driver. This is not a surprise as he makes that pass look easy. I think Nicholas probably was just like, hey, I don't even want to fight this guy. But Snyder's always been really, really good. As we see Mahone, of course, make the pass on Sean Bounty, has now entered the top 5 as we're now 23 laps in. Remember, the fuel window is 45 to 50, so we're roughly halfway into now this fuel window. Now, one thing I want to look at Heath Snyder, though, I just saw a little bit of it on the exit of 4. When you get into clean air, some reason the new build on these NASCAR cars seems to affect the handling. You might be handling good in dirty air, and then you go to the clean, and it's going to be hard to handle. And I think we might start seeing that from some of these drivers.
It can take a couple laps to just kind of figure it out. All of a sudden, you've just got so much more turning ability. So for Heath Snyder, right, I was mentioning how good he looked through 3 and 4. There was just a lot of stability. Well, you get that clean air on your nose, and all of a sudden you're turning a little bit better than you were before. And if you just kind of overstep that boundary a little bit, that right rear tire just comes out from under you, and you're like, man, I've been tight this entire run. Where'd that loose condition come from? But it's really just because you passed 3 or 4 guys and found yourself in some clean air.
And we got us a battle going on. Sean Bounty tries to get underneath Luke Mahone. That was almost some contact as they were a little too close for comfort. But it looks like Bounty, I think, probably used a little bit of wisdom here, backed out of it. As here comes Mahone trying to get by Casey. Casey goes up the track.
Oh, Mahone's looking really good right now. And you can just tell how bad Casey is struggling through 3 and 4, having a tough time every time with the right rear tire. But Mahone, I mean, he's looking so good, just coming through the field, following Heath Snyder just a couple steps behind. Gotta say, he's probably taking care of his tires a little bit better than Heath as well. Now coming through, getting himself some clean air, and Sean Bounty still just stuck behind Casey. Gotta be frustrating for Sean. He's been passed by 2 different people, watched both of those guys pass Nicholas Casey, and he just cannot get his right front fender to the left rear quarter panel. The 86, but he might do it here as the 86 gets loose through the 3 and 4. Not gonna be able to get the run, though, down the front straightaway. And look at this, Keegan Sabilo He looks like
Yeah.
he might be coming on finally. It might have taken him 27 laps, but he's finally working his way back up to these guys.
I'll tell you, you're reading my brain, man. You're reading my mind. I was getting ready to say exactly that. Keegan has all of a sudden just found a new gear. I mean, he seems like he's been saving his equipment. He's like, I wasn't very comfortable, but I know what to do I know how to save. That's one thing that Keegan has always been good at, is saving tires, and I think it's really working right now. Of course, you see Sean Bounty trying to go side by side with Casey, but I think the dirty air is just impacting these drivers so much more than I think we know. And that's the thing about iRacing. They've really changed a lot with these updates that happened a month or so ago. It has really impacted, I think, the nature of the competition on this game, or on the simulator, I should say. I'm about to get some hate mail. I just say
Hey, I say game all the time. Who cares? But Sean Bounty losing that position to Keegan Sabilo, again, got to be frustrating. And Sabilo, as the 86 gets loose, is going to be able to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Going to be able to get inside of that 86 and going to be able to move himself up into the top 5 after having an absolutely abysmal start from P2, dropping all the way back to 8th. Keegan Sabilo has worked his way back into the top 5 by lap 30. So decent recovery drive so far by the 77, but we still have a long way to go, and we have not even taken our first round of pit stops.
Yeah, we're coming up on that soon. I would say probably in the next 15 to 20, or probably 20 laps, I'd say. That's when we're going to come up to those pit stops. Now, from what I was hearing from James Harris, it is, you can make it to a lap 50, but you have to be conserving in order to do that. So I do suspect it'll be probably more closer to in 15 laps, as we see Casey getting really close to that wall there behind, of course, Sobilo. But definitely been interesting so far. I think a lot of drivers are struggling more than others. I mean, we're seeing quite a big gap between first and 20th right now. I mean, about 13 seconds. That's quite a big margin.
Yeah, decent field spread so far, but really, there's a lot of talent in this field. The fact that we've gotten 30 laps to be able to get field spread, man, I miss it. I've run official races and you run 10 laps and then everybody's bunched up again. It gets really frustrating after a while. So it's nice getting these long green flag runs from time to time. I mean, it feels so much nicer from the driver's seat. So I got to imagine all these guys are enjoying this so far. Maybe not the dirty air, because the dirty air does get worse as the tires wear. You feel that mechanical grip going away. The aerodynamic grip has always been gone, and you're just kind of screwed at that point. But I got to talk about the green flag pit stop potential. You had mentioned you can make it to lap 50, but if you can only make it to lap 50, you got to two-stop it. So there's really no point to going all the way to 50, unless you want to maybe splash and go at the very end if you really think we're going to run green. My strategy personally, I'd probably pit at 37, and then pit after another 37, and then you're done. Split the stage perfectly in thirds. Probably the best strategy if it does run green, but hey, wait and see. 27 people in this field, 26. So we could see plenty of different strategy calls, a couple diverging strategies here towards the ending of this.
No, I think you're right. I think that's probably the odds-on favorite call, is probably just to split it into thirds. We'll see how that plays out. We got a huge battle going on between Sabilo and Mahone right now, but looks like Sabilo's going to make it look easy. Of course, Mahone tried to hold him off, but Sabilo's just got better tires, I think, than everybody else right now, and that just seems to be the name of the game. And if he can keep that up, but the only bad thing is he started in second, and right now, first place is 4 seconds ahead of him. That's quite a bit of distance to be going, but I do suspect we're probably going to see some guys start to show that hand to coming down pit road and grabbing a fresh set of tires, and hopefully they can apply some of the things they've learned in this stint.
With Sabilo saving so heavily at the beginning, I might be willing to bet he's doing the one stop of 4 tires at 50 and then splashing gas at 100. I feel like
that's worth it. Ugh.
I feel like with how heavy he saved, that kind of makes me think that that's what he's going for.
Yeah, I just don't know if that's really a smart call, because I just feel like if you, it takes most tracks, I'd say probably this is one as well. It takes about 40 seconds to get from one end of the pit road to the other. Of course, if you just take no tires, you're still going to have to take a little bit of gas, and so that makes it probably more like a 30-second, 30 seconds from one end of pit road to the other. But that's still a lot of time to be giving up, I think. I think it's just too much to make sense for me.
I can agree, but you got to think it's what, 10 seconds on the racetrack that you gain. If he's only going to be 4 seconds back by the time that James Harris pits, it could be well worth it. And heck, he's actually been cutting that gap in this entire time because of how well he saved. He made the pass for P4 and he was 4.25 seconds back. He's cut that in by a whole half second over the last couple laps. So I think the longer that James Harris stays out, if this is indeed Sabilo's strategy, the better it'll be for Sabilo.
And of course, we just saw, I do believe that's Jason Taylor. He's coming down pit road right now. So, and this is about when we expect most of these guys to come down. So I think next time we are seeing quite a bit of battles. We were just, before we saw Jason go down pit road, we saw William Mann Jr., EJ DeBoer, and Asamir Boscom. They were all fighting there for, I do believe, 18th position. Here comes some more drivers. Here's Andrew Hale. Andrew Hale started up in the top 10, and I think he's going to be coming down pit road. So definitely some big strategies calls playing out here as we're on lap 37.
Man, I'm so happy for you. The last guy that came down pit road was Andrew Hale, because they gave you the worst names possible to say back to back. And I kind of felt bad for you there for a second. Then you got to say Andrew Hale, and I was like, oh, that's an easy one for him.
Well, I mean, I'm trying my best. I mean,
man, I've had a hard time with Lorenzo, so I feel you, man. It's tough. There's a couple new names in here that are a little difficult, but hey, we're getting used to it. We're learning these guys' names one race at a time. We'll get them all ironed out by the end of this one, as we see John Lucido come down pit road for his pit stop. A lot of tire smoke coming down. Able to get it slowed down in time, though, I do believe, as he comes down for those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Our race leader, though, on lap 38, as we look back at Heath Snyder holding on to that P3 position over Keegan Sabilo. They've actually both run in our leader by a little bit the last couple laps. Sabilo now under 3 seconds, and Heath Snyder under 2.5.
Yeah, what a job James Harris has been doing, though. He's been keeping this gap at about a second right now. He's starting to lose a little bit of this speed, though, right now. Last time by, he was 0.3, over 0.3 slower than the second place driver. I think Harris is probably going to be coming down pit road, because I feel like he's showing evidence of the tire wear starting to really get to him. Could he be coming down this time? Nope, he's going to be staying out another lap. But I've been very impressed with the 99. I don't know if I've seen this driver on the track before, but Lorenzo is looking incredibly talented here tonight.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen Brian Lorenzo on the sim before, but he's doing really, really good, holding his own in P2, qualified in the 3rd place position. He's been running in the top 5 all night, so big credit to the driver, the 99. I believe in his first race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, running in that P2 position. Super impressive here in the early going, and only 1.2 back from our race leader, as Keegan Sabilo is starting to finally put some pressure on the P3 driver of Heath Snyder. But our front 2 and 4th place driver Keegan Sabilo all coming down pit road right now. 99 spins entering pit road. We were just talking about Lorenzo having such a good showing here in his season debut in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, but tough break entering pit road. Gonna have to get that thing turned around. Gonna lose a chunk of time.
Oh, yeah, and he almost cost some other people their races as well. I'm glad he was able to get out of the way of the 5. But that was a scary moment right there for the 99 of Lorenzo. Was looking so good on the racetrack. But that's one thing, you know, one of my best friends has always said, you race for show, you pit for dough. And that's the thing about it. You can lose a race so quick on pit road. And we're getting ready to watch the 99 make this huge mistake. This is just unfortunate. I think it's just the banking changing, and also he just hit the brake a little too late, actually. I think he was probably trying to get under speed. I'm a little concerned as well, as we can see in that replay. Keegan Sabilo might have been caught speeding. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Sabilo's coming back out on the racetrack right now. I'm going to get a little, I'm going to fall back a little ways just to make sure. No, he did not get speeding. He's fine. He came out just a couple seconds after James Harris. But most
more
of the other
problems
leaders.
Here. Mahone spins it into the inside wall on pit road. Caution flag is out on the Speedway, and the 27 hits the inside wall coming on to pit road. Surprised that brought a caution out. Wow.
Oh, that's going to be huge. In the middle of the pit cycle, the caution comes out. I mean, this jumbles up the field massively. Our race leader is going to be stuck a lap down. Going to have to take the waiver. Actually, James Harris just actually was able to stay on the lead lap. He just managed to unlap himself, it looks like. But multiple drivers like Keegan Sabilo, Andrew Hale, running in the top 5 now, stuck a lap down.
Yeah, that is a heartbreaker right there. So we're going to look back at that. I think I'll take another look at it through the cockpit of the 27, and it looks like I think he might have downshifted. Yep, this is exactly what caused this. He downshifted before he had hit the apron, and that just unsettled the race car. I think he just more problems on the racetrack. The 56 of Brant Thacker. There's accidents happening under caution here.
What is going on? That's the biggest 56 I've ever seen in my life. What in the world? Our producer had mentioned about, I talked about his number on the side of the door in the pre-race, but I didn't really ever take a look at it. Brad Thacker, my goodness, that's a number and a half right there. Gonna have to take a look back
Yeah.
to see what happened to him. I'm just under caution. What is going on?
I have no idea, but this is definitely not pretty at all for Brad Thacker. And of course, Mahone, we were just talking about him. This happened right in front of Mahone. Let's take a look at this and see what happens here. I think he just did not. Oh, gets hit from behind. Who is that hit him there? Somebody just got into Thacker. I think Thacker's probably a little bit heated after that because I think a lot of this was because these guys just did not expect the checkup when they were catching up to the field. I guess they're just as rusty as we are.
I mean, but the pit road's
Wow.
open right there. I mean, I don't know why we'd be flying around pit road whenever it's open right there, but hey,
Yeah,
that is what it is.
Quick.
Hey, it's first race of the season. You get those first race jitters out. It happens. But hey, this is probably a good a time as any. We have not had a chance to take a commercial break. We're going to take our first commercial break of the evening right here, right now. Lap 44 under caution. Stay right here.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment season opener here at the Texas Motor Speedway. We're having an absolute banger of a race so far, I gotta say. I mean, this has been pretty good. Only had one, two kind of incidents. One did not bring out the caution coming down pit road. Second one coming down pit road did bring out the caution. And then under caution, we had a third incident that obviously did not bring out a caution. But we're about to get back going green. Coming to the back straight. Big shuffling of the running order because of that caution under green flag pit stops. Our former race leader, James Harris, now running in the 11th place position with 2-lap old tires, while everybody else in front of him was able to come down and take 4 freshies. Look out for Heath Snyder, though. He had pitted a little bit after Harris. Had not quite gotten lapped yet, but he is 1 place behind James Harris. But he's got brand new tires as well. Keegan Sabilo with a couple laps on his. Same for Sean Bounty, Andrew Hill, Nicholas Casey. So a couple issues towards the back of the pack because of that weird caution in the middle of the cycle. But we're about to come back to the green flag to get this thing restarted.
Yeah, this definitely shook everything up. I mean, I'm not sure what to expect here. I think we could see some more shakeups here, but I definitely am excited either way. It's been a ball.
We haven't seen anybody in the top seven all night, so I really don't have any idea what we're gonna see happen here. But we've got George Young on the front, coming back to the green flag. He's gonna slam the gas and get us back going here on lap number 47. George Young to the front. Brian Toole under fire from Jeff No for that P2 position, going down into turn 1.
One great thing about this, though, we're getting to see some names we don't get to see up here in the top 5. You know, Jeff No didn't even Haven't seen any of him here, but it looks like
I
he's
didn't even
gonna.
know about Jeff No.
That's right. Looks like he's going to struggle a little bit, though, on the exit of turn 2. And I do believe Brian Toole actually going to move up into second place. Very good run for him. No, and the 16 of Robert Wynn, a familiar face, battle now for third place. As we see Luke Mahone, of course, as well. He's fighting, I do believe, for sixth. Now, from what I recall in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, these guys do have one fast pair. So I think Luke Mahone probably was able to grab that and does have a clean truck now.
Oh, man, they wiggle behind him. The 11 car off into the wall on the exit of turn number 2. Able to save it, though. Not really save. He hit the wall pretty good, but didn't take anybody else out. Didn't bring out the caution. No harm, no foul for anybody else. We keep it green. But, man, that was a tough moment there for the driver of the 11 coming out of turn 2. Big wiggle coming out.
Yeah, I don't know if that's over for him. I mean, he's probably going to have some handling woes after that. I mean, Larry Fairman, of course, in that 11 machine is who we're referring to, but he's going to have a lot of right side damage. I mean, that was not a soft hit. And these trucks a lot of times can, the handling of these things can be quite affected from hits like that. As I do believe we're going to see Keegan Savilo try to get by that race car. Of course, George Young, though, in control. So far, so good. Let's see if he can remain that way. He's running some pretty good laps, but James Harris has driven his way all the way up to third place. He's looking like a rocket ship.
Yeah, James Harris, he was the fastest on that first stint. I'm having a couple of internet issues, just a heads up, just in case. But James Harris coming up towards the front of the pack after having to start way back in the back here around P10, P11. He's working his way back up to the front. Better than anybody else so far. I mean, Snyder's still stuck back in 12th. Sabilo's still stuck back in 11th. Maybe these guys are just saving their tires a little bit better than James Harris, but you can't let Harris get away too far and put too many cars in between you, or put too many trucks in between you, because if you do, you're just not going to be able to catch him back, as he's now looking to the inside of P2 of Brian Toole, who's still fighting with George Young for the race lead.
Yeah, I'm surprised Harris is doing this good. I mean, I know that he, I'm not trying to underestimate him. He's always been a really, really fast driver, and has came really close to winning titles in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. But he's in dirty air now, and he has not been in dirty air all race long. But it looks like he's, able to really adapt to that as we're on lap 51. Now he's going to try to go to the high side. His Toole seems to be a little bit harder to pass than I think James suspected.
Yeah, James was looking at the outside, but now he's looking for that cutback on the exit of turn 2 as the 22 pushes up out of the racetrack, coming out of the corner. Didn't quite get it on the exit of the corner, but he still has a little bit of a run going down the back straightaway. Not quite able to have enough to pull out. Just going to have to fall back in line in that P3 spot and be a little bit content for now. But, man, he's really finding that clean air with that left front fender under the left rear tire well, of the 22. Just able to get some clean air on that fender and wrap it around the corner a little bit better. James Harris using every tool that he's got in the toolbox.
And we're also seeing some battles further back. I see William Mann Jr. He's trying to hold off Sean Boundy. A lot of really close battles here in this. I mean, these guys, this is a pack of cars right here. They're all on top of each other here. It looks like Bounty's going to get behind William Mann Jr., though, and move himself up into the top 10. But a lot of battles happening on this racetrack.
Battle for the lead.
Every minute of it. Here we go. Battle for the lead.
Brian Toole able to get to the inside of George Young coming up in turn 4. George Young way up the racetrack through 1 and 2. And there's no grip up there. He's got absolutely no chance, as he might lose out to second place of James Harris. James trying to make that inside line work as now he goes down to the turn 3s. We're going to catch a replay of that race for the lead. I mean, huge run from the 22 coming up at turn 4. We saw George get just a little tight coming off the corner, maybe a little bit of wiggle, and then tightening up as he kind of exited turn 4, but has to give up that position to the 22, who now is under fire from James Harris. He is looking to get that lead back. He is not content with running second. He's not content with running 10th as he was earlier. Move James Harris back up to the race lead as he's side by side with the 22 coming off at turn 2.
Yeah, what a job for James Harris. He is doing a fantastic job. And look at this, Jeff No. Now going to try to see if he can challenge for that second place as he wants to go to number 2. Oh, that was stupid. I'm sorry. He's trying to go side by side with Brian Toole, but look who is back in the fray as well, Luke Mahone. This guy is going to be somebody to watch. Of course, he messed up quite a bit coming on the pit road earlier and caused that caution, but I still say watch this 27. He's going to be dangerous, and dangerous in a good way. Yellow flag is out on the Speedway.
Oh, Brad Thacker, not again. This time a little bit worse for Ware. My goodness. All the smoke coming out of the back end of that thing. This poor guy, man, he's just got rear rear impact multiple times. Yeah, oh, well, I guess that was kind of his own fault. He might have came down on the driver of the 6 and then driven down to the bottom of the racetrack. Man, hard impact to the bottom as the Valvoline truck also took a massive impact on the outside. We saw him rebounding off and spinning off like a Beyblade.
Yeah, I could say that's an accurate description. I mean, wow. Yeah, you can see that definitely was mainly, I'd say, on Brad. I mean, he just came down a little bit into try.
Oh, was that Sabilo? Was Sabilo
no.
in this? Was that the 77 of Sabilo that went hard to the outside wall too?
I do not believe so. I don't.
It was a blue. It was a blue car that looked like Sabilo, but maybe it wasn't.
Let's take another look at that was not. I don't believe that was Sabilo, but I see that.
Oh, is that blue truck
right here? I think.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw the blue on the side. The
50.
Sam Swope. That's a new driver we have not gotten to get to know yet.
Unfortunately,
it looks like everybody's coming down. Everybody's coming down to pit because they can make it to the end on fuel here if they save. And they might be about 3 or 4 laps short here, but it'll be tight.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think they can make it. I don't think that's going to be a possibility. I think mainly everybody's probably coming down to get a fresh set of tires. And, of course, since we've already seen one set being used, this will be the second set being used. That means we only have one left after this. So this could come down to, if we have a caution and everybody uses a set and then we have another caution that where no one has tires left. So could some smart money be on saving that set for later and managing some resources? That could be a really big ticket to a victory because, I mean, tire wear seems to be pretty big here and important.
So I get saving a set, but with the 26 car field and how tough it is to pass at Texas, even with the newer tires, I probably would have just kept my track, stayed on strategy, I suppose, with the main guys. I would have came down with James Harris and just done whatever James did when he took 4 tires and fuel. I want to say everybody's going to be trying to make it to the end that pitted. I really do believe everybody that pitted is going to be gunning for the end of this thing. So I think we're going to see a lot of saving here at the beginning.
I don't know. I gotta disagree with you a little bit. I mean, I hate to say it, but think about it. James Harris in that last restart started in 11th and drove his way up to the lead. I'm just saying it. Yeah, I mean, I understand it. Tire, yeah, it's hard to pass, but I think tires. If somebody's on 15 lap old tires and everybody's on 15 lap old tires and you're on the only one on new tires, you're gonna pass everybody like they're not moving. I hate to call you out, Austin, but somebody had to do it.
Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. There might be some saving going on. It's too early to tell, and I know for a fact they're saving right now under caution. But what do you say we ask a racer here under caution? Maybe we can pull up Heath Snyder and get his opinion.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna pull up Heath. Heath Snyder, this is Austin in the broadcast booth. Do I have a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, Heath, you've been running pretty good today. Unfortunate with that timing of the caution a little bit, trapping yourself back in about 10th place whenever you had fought your way up to about the top 3. What are you feeling behind the truck tonight? Do you think you have something that can pull out a victory?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we can pull out a top 5 pretty easily. I'm used to being a lot tighter here, but with the track temp, it's been a pretty loose setup, so it's been interesting adjusting to that.
Hey, that makes it more fun in my opinion. But hey, you've been doing pretty good so far. Now we're under a little bit of we're a little mystified with the pit strategy here. Is everybody just outside of their fuel window, and we're going to see a couple people saving pretty heavily here, or are y'all good to go?
We're right on the window. I'd say if you save enough here on the caution, I think you might be okay. Maybe a few more laps of saving, but if there's a green-white checker, nobody's making it.
And you did take 4 tires on that pit stop, correct?
I did.
All right. Well, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you use those 4 tires to get up to the front. I know a couple people did not take them up towards the front, just took fuel only. So maybe a couple easy pickings for you up here towards the front. But we'll let you get back to it and hope to see you up in the top 3, maybe even victory lane at the end of this thing.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. You too. That was Heath Snyder, and there's our answer. We might be good. He said if we save hard enough in the caution and maybe a couple more laps. So that's pretty close. That's pretty close.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to be really, really close. I mean, and you could even see, just even looking at the body language or the truck language of these guys under caution, they were cutting the apron there to save gas. These guys are trying to cut the distance around this track down a little bit under these cautions to save just just a tiny little bit of fuel to make it to where it's possible. So I think that they're definitely trying. I think that's what's on the mind here. Now, whether it's going to work, I think that's a different story. We'll have to see here.
Hey, that's why we rack them up and run them. If we could decide it on paper, if I could do the math of whether we could make it on gas or not and just let the running order sit out, there would be no point in being here. What is
That's right.
great is that we have no idea, and we're going to get to figure out. That is what entertains us. Cannot wait to get it figured out as we head down into turn 3.
I'm wondering what's going on with this 5 car, because I mean, I'm seeing the 5 seems like he keeps trying to get in a line here, but I think he's a lap down.
He's 2 laps down. I don't know why it has him in 3rd place.
Yeah, it's really weird. This could cause some issues.
This is a 2008 code, so it makes sense. But the pace car is off. James Harris going to lead us back to the green flag. He's got Jeff No on his outside, but the driver of the Champion Power Equipment truck is taking us to the green in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. James Harris to the point.
Wow, already seeing 3 wide. I mean, George Young just decided, like, yeah, I'm going to go 3 wide with the 1, as well as he saw that lap car, the 5, tried to go underneath the 1 as well. But it looks like Jeff No is going to be able to hold them off, and he's going to try to sail away. Here comes Keegan Sabilo, getting a pretty good run up to the 1 machine. Luke Mahone, of course, in 4th place, trying to hold on George Young. But definitely some battling already. Very unique start there, I tell you. As we see, here comes side by side possibly for 2nd as Jeff No tries to hold off the 77.
Yeah, it's a little strange, especially with the lap truck being in there to kind of throw everything off. But Sabilo trying to get up to the driver of the 1. Jeff No trying to get that position, but instead it's going to be Mahone on the outside of Keegan Sabilo trying to take away P3 instead.
Yeah, I've just been so impressed with what we've been seeing from this 27. He just seems like he knows what he's doing in the race car, and I think he's going to be one to watch all season long. So just keep an eye on that guy. I think he's going to definitely maybe a championship runner towards the end of this season. But I know Keegan Sabilo not going to sit down. He's not going to lay down here. He's going to fight as here he goes, tries to get underneath the 1, not quite able to get there as Harris tries to hold on to this lead. He's led a ton of laps here so far tonight.
Jeff No hit the apron massively. Had to, the 77 of Sabilo had to take massive evasive action, and he went way down on the apron. And that opens up for Mahone on the middle groove of the racetrack. And now they're 2 wide for P2 again, as it's Sabilo and Mahone this time instead, as Jeff No loses out and drops back to P4. Nervy moment on the exit of turn 2 between Jeff No and Keegan Sabilo.
Yeah, I'm sure No probably did not mean to do that. He's probably kicking himself a little bit, but that kind of even somewhat opened the door, I'd say, for the 77. Maybe not. The 27 sails it in 1 and 2. Wow, I'm surprised he was able to stick that. He was flying around the high side there.
Hey, Heath Schneider was telling us about how loose these things feel, and he normally does not feel that at Texas. And you can see it. Sabilo really didn't have to do too much. It didn't look like there was much evasive maneuver that he needed, or much of a evasive maneuver he needed to do, but he just got loose after the 1 got loose after he touched the apron. So that was kind of a little bit of a strange situation there from Keegan Sabilo. You can just tell how hard it is to drive these trucks here tonight in Texas.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's incredibly difficult to handle these things, and not sure exactly why. If it's just a setup on the race car, we'll have to definitely talk to some more of these guys to see, if it's everybody that's dealing with this, if it's based on clean versus dirty air. Hopefully we can talk to James Harris and figure that out. We do see the 99 of Brian Lorenzo. He's starting to try to make some moves here. He just entered the top 10 again. He's in 9th. He's trying to, I do believe, battle with John Lucido and Jeff No. No, of course, has dropped quite quickly through this field. But I know the 99, he was up in 2nd for a lot of this race. Can he get back up into the top 5? I think it's going to be a question.
Yeah, he had that major mistake coming down to pit road where he spun out, sat sideways in the middle of pit entry for about 10 seconds. That was Lorenzo fighting his way back up into the top 10, up into P7 at this point, and hounding Heath Snyder here. Just a couple tenths of a second off his back bumpers. We've got James Harris still leading the way over Luke Mahone and Sean Boundy, who's found his way back up into the top 3. We saw Boundy drift down the race, or down the running order as the long run went on the first run of the night. Interesting to see him back here into the top 3 in the early going of the final run. Hopefully he can keep the tires on it just a little bit better this time, as we see George Young try to challenge him, but he just can't quite get to the back bumper of the 34.
I'm surprised to see George Young doing as well as he is. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, hopefully he doesn't take offense. It seems like you just took offense, but I mean, I'm just saying.
If someone told me I'm surprised how good you're doing, I would be kind of hurt. I would be hurt.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feeling. I'm just saying that usually he's kind of a outside of the top 10 runner, and he's doing really well here tonight. Hopefully I didn't hurt his feelings. I'm just, I'm trying to pay a compliment, and apparently that did not come out.
You just need to see my producers in my ear saying, picking my side on this one. I got to typically whenever somebody does, I can't. That was too funny, man. But I get it. He was trying to give the compliment. I appreciate that. But George Young is having a great night. I mean, running up, was in the top 5. He's fallen back to 8th place now with Andrew Hill on his inside. But yeah, George Young has had a great night so far.
Yeah, for sure. He's starting to fall back a little bit, but hopefully he's able to continue to make some moves. So we'll have to wait and see. As poor Sean Bounty, as you mentioned, is up to 3rd place. We'll see if he can continue this momentum as well. As of course, here comes Heath Snyder trying to make some moves here for 4th.
Yeah, and as Heath Snyder's trying to work his way back up to the top step, we're actually going to take a step away as we have James Harris leading the way with Luke Mahone in 2nd and Sean Bounty in 3rd.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Grip Vision's coverage of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Definitely been an awesome race thus far as we're now getting ready to start lap 76. James Harris, of course, out front right now. He's got about 3/10 on Luke Mahone. Mahone, of course, is the highest running he's been so far here tonight. Let's see if we can continue to, kind of cut into this gap that James Harris has, of course, had all night. Of course, Heath Snyder now driving in underneath Sean Bounty for 3rd place. Can he get this pass completed? Heath Snyder's been one of the faster trucks all night as well. As, of course, we have, I do believe, coming up to 35 laps, or we have now 35 laps to go, and it looks like Heath Snyder is able to make that pass. He's actually the fastest car in the top 10 at the moment. So the 29 or 3 is his iRacing number. Is doing very well here tonight. 31.1 last time by, which was a couple tenths faster than everyone around it. Bounty seems to be suffering from poor long run speed. Been seeing a lot of that from him tonight. Being very fast in a 20-lap run, but once he gets into that plus 20 lap mark, it seems like he just starts to struggle. 31.8 last time by, which was 6/10, or actually a half a second slower than everyone around him. As we see, I do believe Keegan Sabilo battling right now with Brian Lorenzo for that 6th place position. Of course, if you recall, the 99 of Lorenzo earlier was up to 2nd place. He has been now trying to recover and get back up into the top 3. And you still see that side by side. Oh, it looks like they split Sean Bounty, 3 wide, is now, looks like Keegan Sabilo able to get by Bounty as well as the 99, enters the top 5. Lorenzo, very quick. This is just looking so great for when it comes to the rest of this season. I just cannot wait to see all these guys go toe-to-toe. I think we got a lot of guys that are just really great on speed, and it just really gives me a lot of hope as Heath Snyder, of course, has gotten by. Luke Mahone has taken over that 2nd place now, so Snyder going to see if he could possibly run down James Harris. Last time by, he was about a half a tenth faster than Harris. Of course, James Harris has led the majority of this race thus far, has had just a phenomenal performance. Of course, I talked to him, as I mentioned before the race, and he said this was his favorite track, I do believe. So I do suspect he's going to definitely see if he could possibly win here at this favorite track, and he is very much dead set on making that happen. But last time by, Heath Snyder was a 2/10 faster, which is quite a bit faster. Let's see if Snyder can make up this gap. Of course, it went from about 6/10 to now about 4/10 that quickly. Also, I do believe we're seeing some battling further back in the pack. Here comes Lorenzo. He's going to make a move, I do believe, on Mahone. Mahone was up in 2nd place, but has been dropping down quickly. Last time by, Mahone hit a 31.966. That was a half a second slower than Lorenzo. So Lorenzo is looking like he is the fastest truck on the track right now. The only person that's really matching his laps is Heath Snyder.
Yeah, Mahone going backwards on the old tires while Lorenzo's going forward, and Heath Snyder's looking really good up there towards the front, finding his way up into the P2 position, closing that gap now to 0.3 of a second, and hounding James Harris for that race lead as we take 29 laps to go here, coming down to the back straightaway. Andrew Hale up in P3, but man, Lorenzo looks really, really quick at this point.
Yeah, really, he really does. I mean, of course, as I mentioned before, we saw him doing very well earlier in this race. It just seemed like the green flag pit stop is what kind of messed him up. But it looks like he's got the ship righted, and he probably learned a very valuable lesson that he won't soon forget. But he's definitely trying to get back to where he was as he is running down Hale. Here he comes. But as well, we see another driver running someone down. Of course, Heath Snyder. We're looking at the roof cam of the 29 machine. He is chasing down James Harris. Now about a 10th back from Harris. So you got to think the 55 is probably sweating right now, Austin.
Yeah, poor James Harris. He was talking about this being his favorite track. I remember him mentioning that last season, and I don't believe he got the W last season, and he was upset about it. And he's been leading most of this race. And I'm going to feel terrible for him if Heath Snyder throws this thing around his outside right here, but it's not going to happen in 1 and 2. You ain't making that high of a line working turns 1 and 2, especially not in the truck at Texas. I mean, it's just not possible. But hey, the bottom side of the racetrack looks pretty good, and that's what Lorenzo's looking for right here in 3 and 4 on the bottom. Trying to take that P3 position away from the 4 truck of Andrew Hale. Looking really good down there on the bottom seam of the racetrack. Lorenzo just about clears him, getting off the corner, but not quite. They're going to stay side by side all the way down the front straightaway, but I do believe Lorenzo's going to clear him entering turn 1.
Yeah, I do believe he is now back up into the top 3. I know this is where he started the race, I do believe. He qualified in 3rd. Heath Snyder, though, now still all the way on Harris, not able to really gain any ground, though. Now, this is one thing I think that we should expect. Last time we saw Harris being pressured was when Sean Bounty got really close to his back bumper. Now, the closer you get to that leader's back bumper, the worse that car is going to handle. So I think that might be what we're seeing with Heath Snyder, because it seems like the momentum is starting to kind of die out the closer he gets.
Yeah, it just seems that, you know, he kind of gets to about 0.2 of a second back, and then it yo-yos back to 0.4, and then it hits that 0.4 gap, and it's almost like he's got enough clean air on the nose to where he can run that thing back down to about 0.2, and we're just kind of seeing the same thing happen over and over. It might take a mistake out of Harris at this point to be able to give Heath Snyder a chance.
Yeah, one thing about it as well is, you know, for Snyder, he's probably, you know, like I said, we saw this at Bounty earlier. When you're running in someone's tire tracks, it causes your tires to wear differently as well. So Snyder's got to make sure that he doesn't fall into the same trap that Bounty did earlier. Of course, speaking of Bounty, he's back in 6th. I thought he was struggling quite hard a little bit earlier, but it looks like he has kind of got the ship righted. He's in the what looked like he was going to fall back even further. I'll tell you one driver that's not doing well is Luke Mahone. He was up in the top 3. Of course, now is back in 7th, and he's one of the slower cars in the top 10.
Yeah, he is. He does have a good a little over 2-second gap to no behind him, but I don't know if he's going to consistently be running these lap times. He might be falling out of the top 10 by the end of this thing with 23 laps to go. If this thing runs green, I'd be a little bit worried if I was the driver of the 27. May have just ran that thing a little bit too hard in the beginning. But oh, the 5, the Valvoline machine on the inside, getting a little bit of an issue. Garth Schneider there on the front straightaway. Oh, a little bit of tire smoke through 1 and 2 as well.
You know what I'm seeing? I don't know if okay, we're looking at Garth Schneider here, but see exactly what happened here with him. But I'm noticing something on the 27 on Mahone. Looking at that truck, oh yeah, look at that. That's going to cause a little bit of damage as he goes for a little bit of a ride through the tri-oval. Looks like he's not going to cause it too much problems for anybody else but himself. But looking at the 27, if you look at the rear, the right rear on that race truck, he's got damage, and I think that explains why he's struggling right now. These cars are very vulnerable when you get damage, especially on the spoilers. That could cause a lot of handling woes.
Yeah, and messing up that right rear quarter panel is tough, especially at Texas with turns 3 and 4. I feel like you've got to have absolutely max stability through that corner because you're just flying through it, ripping through that high banking. And if that spoiler's a little bent, a little messed up, and that quarter panel is destroyed, it's going to be tough to get through 3 and 4 every single time.
Yeah, I think this is what's costing him his woes. I mean, I know sometimes you can see, sometimes spoiler damage can make you better, but I just don't know if that's the case at this racetrack. It doesn't seem like it's helping him at all. He's going to be lucky if he, I think, limps home with the top 10. As, of course, we look back to the front. James Harris under just massive pressure right now from Heath Snyder. And I think the reason is because Snyder is starting to get pressure himself. Look who's coming up behind him, Lorenzo. He knows, Snyder's like, I got to make this pass now or I'm going to get past. I do believe that's probably what's running in his mind right now.
And you're talking about Lorenzo coming, and you're absolutely right, by the way, but Andrew Hale is not too far back either. And Keegan Sabilo was the fastest car on that first stint, coming to the end on old tires. He had done the best at saving tires. He's only 2.2 back at this point with 20 laps left. If they get racing up here in the top 3, top 4, I wouldn't count Keegan Sabilo out of this thing just yet either.
No, I think this whole top 5 has got a chance. I think they're all of them are really quick. I think the only thing that the advantage that Harris has is he's got the clean air, and that has been so far the most valuable thing from what I've seen. I mean, he started on the pole and has not really given. Oh, we got some problems. Somebody trying to take some more excursions through the grass as the caution flag is out.
There's no way it was for that, right?
Caution?
There's no way it was for that. No way.
Can't be. That was just okay. So it wasn't for that. I think it was the 42 of Bascombe.
Oh, good evasive maneuver from, is that a Melio machine? I couldn't quite tell.
Jr.
Oh my goodness, William Mann. That was a great twitch to the right to avoid that. Really lazy spin coming off of turn 2 from the 42, but that's kind of what you get coming out of turn 2 with it being so flat. It's really a lot of lazy spins like that. But man, William Mann, I mean, that's reflexes right there to get past that.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody's going to come in and take 4, by the way. Everybody that's still got a set is coming in, and they're putting them on right now.
Oh, I don't blame him. I mean, I think that's a smart money is to do that. I mean, and of course now that answers the gas question as well. So this is pretty much just going to be a straight up, probably around a little less than 15 lap shootout to the end. So whoever was good in that 15 lap run is going to be really the strong man that's going to have the chance to win this race. And I think Harris has been all in all good the whole run. So if he just gets a solid restart, that's half the battle, I do believe.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the pit stops, though. I mean, if Heath Snyder has a better pit stop,
yeah,
it all is for naught as James Harris comes down to take a stop. I think he did a little bit better.
Keegan Sabilo misses his box, have to kick it in reverse. That's going to cost him.
Oh, Sabilo, who's running in P5, not quite able to get it done. Is this George Young coming out, taking 2-tire fire? Heath Snyder trying to meet out James Harris as well, not quite able to do it. James Harris is going to take that P2. Oh, actually, they were playing a little bit of games there for that second place position. Heath did hit the brakes, then James hit the brakes. I think James ended up coming out in second. But tough break for those guys as George Young is going to inherit the race lead with some 2-tire fire at the end of this thing.
I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know because I know that 2 tires can work. I mean, I know last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the next gen, I took 2 tires after like 30 laps, and it worked. But I don't know if that works here in this truck in Texas. I don't know. But I tell you what, I gotta applaud the boldness for the 48.
I mean, you know what? It's the first race of the season. I feel like George Young was probably I didn't see exactly where he was running, but I think he was hovering around the 10th to 15th place before that. Right, so he was right in that area. Taking the 2-tire, I mean, heck, with 15 laps to go, with this big of a field, he's probably thinking, we're going to get some more cautions. We're going to get a couple restarts. If I can just sit up here and get the cautions to come out at the right time, I might have a chance to win this thing. So I like that call from Young. He's going to get great restarts, right? He's going to have full control of this thing. He's going to easily clear our second place driver of James Harris before they get to the turn 1. At least he should. And so, I don't know, if he gets lucky a couple times, maybe the caution comes out through 1 and 2. Maybe it comes out through 3 and 4 on the first lap once or twice. George Young could be in the driver's seat for this one.
Yeah, that would be quite a start to this season. I think that would be a big confidence builder. And I think Young has not looked bad tonight. I mean, I kind of said it earlier, I guess, in a somewhat of a mean way. He's looked good. He's looked good today. I've been impressed with the 48. And this could be just the jumping off point for a season. I mean, this is a new year, a new season. There's new possibilities. And I think the 48 is definitely trying to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I like it. He knew he wasn't going to win this race from where he was in the field taking 4. It's going to be so difficult to pass 9, 10, 11 drivers. But hey, you just don't put on 2 of your tires and you're going to pass 10 of them. So I like the call. I like it from George Young. Just be a little different. Now the problem, it has been loose all day, right? These trucks have been way more loose than normal. And typically whenever you put on 2 right side tires, that thing cranks up loose to a max. I mean, unbelievably loose. So if I'm Young, I'm paying attention to that. But the sun is also setting. It's at a further point down in the sky than it has been all night. And we started the race at 107 track temp. It's down to 88. So the track is tightening up. This might be the perfect timing for George Young in terms of the sun going down, track cooling off, taking 2 tires. It could be perfect timing.
That's definitely very interesting. I think that could play into his hand. Of course, we got to, take heed of what Snyder said earlier. That the car is loose, and he's never been loose at this track before like that. So got to keep that in mind. But also, Young is, going to have clean air. So I'm very curious. There's a lot of variables. There is a ton of variables. I
was about to say I've never heard of T in variables before. And I got a math minor, so I hear that word all the time.
Yeah. Whatever. I was trying to, but you know what I mean.
Eat your variables, kids. But anyway, I love you, Brian, man. Holy cow, man! I'm so excited. Champion is back, just so I get to keep calling races with you. It's been too long since the championship.
Well, man, that just warms my heart. I tell you what.
Yeah, and you forfed on me on the other night. So sad. No, I'm just kidding. I wish you a happy half retirement. But coming to 14 laps to go, who do you have? Who's your pick?
Harris, and I'm not going to change. I picked Harris at the beginning of this race, and I think he's going to win this thing. I think he's got the determination in the wheel.
I'm going with the man that we interviewed. I'm going Heath Schneider. Maybe if we get another caution, we'll be able to ask our producer. But we're coming to the green flag. 2-tire fire from George Young as he takes the green flag, stomps the gas. He's going to easily take the lead. Our producer said Lorenzo, by the way, but George Young to the race lead. James Harris in second. Heath Schneider following through in third as Lorenzo's trying to look to the inside of Schneider for that P3 position. Not able to get it. George Young way up the racetrack, not even trying to defend the spot. James Harris is going to easily take it on the exit of 2.
I think that was the biggest thing right there. If Harris had, if Schneider had stayed side by side with Harris, that would have been a different story there. I think that Schneider would have had the advantage, but you saw Harris was able to clear Schneider, and then he got underneath Young, and now it is smooth sailing if he stays like this. So I think all 3 of our picks are fast enough to win this race, but I think Harris might be able to get it done. I don't know, though, Schneider, what is he willing to do here as he sets up a run coming out of turn 2?
They are on cold tires right now. Does anybody make a little bit of a mistake, push those tires just a little bit too far and have a little bit of a lazy spin like we saw bring out the caution not too long ago? Heath Schneider hounding our race leader of James Harris. James has led almost this entire race, and we're 97 laps in? I'd have to imagine he has led 75, 80. He has absolutely dominated this thing, but Heath Schneider has found his way back up to the front, up to the back bumper of the driver of the 55, and he is hounding up for the race lead through 1 and 2 as we're 3 wide for about 6th place.
Yeah, 3 wide. It looks like we're going to stay that way. Almost 4 wide. As you see, Keegan Sabilo thinking a little bit better of trying to go underneath Sean Bounty. That was a scary situation. I never thought I'd see 4 wide at Texas, and it looks like today's not going to be that day either. It almost looked like it was going to be, as it looks like wisdom prevailed right there. As it
Heath Schneider to the inside. He uses a little bit of the grass on the inside of the second dog leg. He's able to pull side by side with James Harris through turn 2. Muth Heath Schneider just about up to the race lead, but they're still side by side. There's nothing between the two. They're both even going down the back straightaway. Heath Schneider with the preferred inside groove. James Harris on the outside trying to use the momentum. Harris gets loose just a little bit in the middle of the corner. We saw that little twitch. Move Heath Schneider up to the race lead, coming to 10 laps to go.
I don't know if it's over yet. You know Snyder's not, or you know Harris is not going to let it go here, and this could bring as well to 99 into the fray, considering side-by-side always slows him down. It looks like Snyder gets a little bit tight off of turn 2. This is going to allow the 55 to catch back up to the back bumper here, and what a race as we are now less than 10 laps to go. The 55, he's going to try to see if he can he almost tried to bump the 29 out of the way, but I don't think the 55 is done here yet.
He tried taking that air off the spoiler. He got just a little loose, the 29 did, but it just wasn't enough for the 55. Can Heath Schneider dive it in and hold that position into turn 1? Looks like he's going to do it, but he's going to be tight through the center of the corner as James Harris is wrapping the bottom. He got all the way down to the white line. He got a little bit better run out of the corner, and he's going to duck to the inside before they get to turn 3.
What an event we're having here. What a first race at Texas as we see James Harris able to take the lead back. He said it's not over. Here comes Lorenzo, though. Can he probably put his hat in that ring as he's going to see if he can challenge Heath Schneider? You'll also see Andrew Hale. The battle is definitely heating up here at Texas.
Ooh, Harris a little loose through 1. That's going to allow Heath Schneider to get the lead back. And here comes the 99 of Lorenzo to the back bumper of the 3. He's going to look to the inside. He gets blocked by the 3 down, or sorry, the 29 down into turn 3. Heath Schneider's going to hold on to the race lead just for now, but he's a little loose. He's a little twitchy. Brian Lorenzo not content with second, and neither is James Harris. He's fighting back on the outside.
And we are starting to get this looks like Talladega here in Texas as you see James Harris, of course, making that high side work. You see Luke Mahone, of course, in the 4th place, trying to push the 55 along, as well as you see Keegan Sabilo thinking about making it 3 wide. This is becoming a dog fight. I'm telling you, these guys the gloves are off. This is a fight.
It's tight. It's close. I can't believe they're not touching through the middle of 3 and 4 as James Harris gets loose. Skates out to the outside of the racetrack. Heath Schneider's going to beat him back to the line. Coming to 6 laps to go. Doesn't quite matter just yet as we've still got 6 to go. And it is a dogfight between the top 6 as we have Heath Schneider, James Harris, Brian Lorenzo, Mahone, Hale, and Sabilo all under a blanket coming off at turn 2 as Heath Schneider gets loose again, but he holds the lead and he clears Harris up at 2.
Harris almost got down into the right bumper, or right side quarter panel there, but looks like, very close as Lorenzo and Harris are touching. Harris into the outside wall hard. He's led almost all this race, and he is going to smash the outside wall out of 4. Is out, and his car is decimated, and that is a heartbreaker for the 55 machine.
Terrible, terrible mistake there out of the 55. I just think he squeezed Lorenzo a little bit too much. I mean, Lorenzo can't really go any lower. Yeah, whenever the contact starts, maybe he's got 4 or 5 inches, but I don't know. I think Harris needed to leave just a little bit more room. I get why he's doing it. You gotta get down on their door, but I don't know. That's tough. You gotta leave a little bit more room than that, I think. And he pinches the 99 down onto the apron. Once the 99 gets those left side tires down to the bottom, and Mahone's on the back bumper, the 55 as well, not doing him any favors. Just absolute heartbreak for James Harris, who's absolutely dominated this race, led probably 90-plus laps, and it's going to end in heartbreak for the driver of the 55 again at Texas.
Yeah, that is it is truly a heartbreak. I mean, I think you're right. I think he was pinching down a little bit on Lorenzo a little bit too much, and I think also, like you said, Mahone was not doing him any favors. He was on his back bumper, essentially shoving him, and not much that Harris could have did in that situation either way. I think if Mahone maybe hadn't been shoving him, I think that Harris and Lorenzo probably could have got out of that without too much problem. But that extra variable. I'm just saying with the add a T. I don't know. That extra. Addition there definitely did not help. That's for sure. We'll see how this kind of works out. It looks like a lot of drivers are staying out, but I think Heath Schneider just got a pretty big gift here, and he might come home with a victory. But look at Keegan Sabilo. He's up in 2nd right now.
Yeah, we were talking about Sabilo struggling in the early going and ended up being a good long run car, but I don't know. I'm surprised to see him up in second. We haven't had really those long runs for him to get up here, but that last little stint, he did a really good job finding his way up. And then, of course, whenever two drivers in front of you make some contact, take each other out, you pick up 2 free spots, and you all of a sudden find yourself on the front row with a chance to win this thing. Really impressive from the 77, just sticking with it all night.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, very impressive for everybody. I'd say this has been a race that a lot of guys have shown a lot of talent, and I think this is really giving me a lot of hope for the rest of the season. And I know one driver in particular not feeling probably a lot of hope right now, James Harris. I know he's outside of the race car now. I got to imagine that I probably can't even conceive the disappointment that's probably on his mind right now. I mean, just to lead as much of the race as he did. And, of course, this is his favorite track. Had a lot of hope coming into the night.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, that's just the trucks on iRacing at mile and a halves. I mean, on new tires, even Texas with such a flat corner in 1 and 2, it becomes a super speedway for about 15, 20 laps. It really does. And I have a mixture of love and hate for it on here because, man, is it fun to call. Man, is it fun to broadcast. Unbelievably entertaining every time at the mile and a halves in the trucks whenever it comes down to these late race restarts. But it's equally as frustrating in the driver's seat. I can't stand driving the mile and a halves in the trucks because of it, because you're not in your own, or in control of your own destiny. And I can handle that 2, 3, 4 times a year with Talladega, Daytona. But man, every single mile and a half for the first 15 laps of every run, it can get a little frustrating from the driver's seat. So for James Harris, he was the guy the entire time whenever everybody's not driving over their heads. But as soon as it gets down to the nitty gritty, and everybody's just flying, has no cares about the tires, unfortunately, he's the one that catches the short end of the stick.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, it's very heartbreaking for sure. But I do believe we're going to have ourselves a green, white, checkered pace car lights. I do believe should be going off this time by. So definitely curious to see how this could play out. I mean, of course, these guys do have a little bit of wear on the tires. So I don't know I don't know. I think they're still going to be going pedal to the metal. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. As we come to, I believe, take a 1 to go. I believe we're going to this time by. I don't know, man. Green, white, checker coming. This is gonna be a sketchy one. Your race picks out of it. Yeah, do we just give you Sabilo as like a
I don't know, man. You're right. I didn't even think about that, man. A race picks out of it. What? I'll tell you. I mean, yeah. If you guys would give me give me a change, I would pick Sabilo. Yeah.
I don't know. That might be a little. We might need to do this. We might need to do this all year and keep tabs of it.
You mentioned it.
No, you're right. I did bring it up, so I kind of feel bad. But we kind of need to keep tabs of this and figure out which one of us is the best year round on picks. But we need to start making them before the race.
Well, I mean, I made mine at the beginning of the race, Harris. So I'll stick with him.
Well,
unfortunately.
Well, fair enough. We'll start it next week then with the actual keeping tracks. We need to have our own little office pool on it up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, but definitely a great race so far here. I mean, it's got me excited. It's got me very, very excited. I think a lot of these guys are probably excited as well. They probably had a lot of fun in that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some really high heart rates, if we had some heart rate monitors on some of these drivers during that little stint. I mean, these guys were verging on 4 wide for a moment there.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see 4 wide on this green, white, checkered. I mean, goodness gracious, this race has been crazy. Coming to 2 laps to go this time by. We do have, 2 green, white, checkered attempts? Yeah, we have 2 green, white, checkered attempts. This is our first one. Hey, Schneider, gonna lead us to the green. I'm nervous, man. This could be crazy. The Champion Power Equipment Truck Series season opener has been an absolute banger thus far. How are we gonna have it over the last 2 laps?
No, I think it's going to be a banger last 2 laps.
Coming out of turn 4, Heath Schneider is going to lead us to the green flag for maybe the final time through the Geico restart zone. Heath Schneider hard on the gas, going to easily clear Keegan Sabilo, getting to the start-finish line as they're side-by-side for second with Lorenzo trying to take it away.
Yeah, Lorenzo had a really good start there. He was able to get going successfully there. Let's see if he can maybe get this second place. But it looks like Sabilo has gotten the momentum in 1 and 2, that on the restarts, on the top, it seems like that's where the momentum is. But I don't think when you're up to speed, it's there. So let's see. It looks like Sabilo, wow, what a run. He's getting through 3 and 4. Can he maintain this to possibly make something happen as Lorenzo gets a little bit tight up on the bumper?
Sabilo with a huge move on the outside of 3 and 4 to get to the outside of the race leader. Through 1 and 2, Keegan Sabilo, where did you come from, sir? Driver of the 77 looking for the race lead off of turn 2. Heath Schneider still fighting back on the inside. He's going to be able to side draft the left rear quarter panel of the 77 coming down the back. Down into turn 3, still side by side for the race lead. Which one is going to come out of turn 4 a winner? Heath Schneider in the 29, Keegan Sabilo in the 77, in the season opener. It's Heath Schneider by a bumper cover by 15 thousandths of a second. Heath Schneider wins the season opener over Keegan Sabilo in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
That was so close. I don't know how that would have went if Heath didn't get tight out of turn 4, because I feel like Heath got a little tight out of 4, and that caused him and Sabilo to get connected a little bit there towards the end, and I think that kind of robbed Sabilo of a little bit of that momentum. Look at this. You see right there, they start to touch, and that slows both of them down. And right here, they touch again. And wow, look at how close this is. I mean, Sabilo and Heath, that's a historic finish right there for the first finish of the season as well.
Alrighty, we're going to throw it back to our last commercial break of the evening so I can catch my breath after that heck of a finish. Congratulations, Heath Schneider. We'll be back on the other side of the break interviewing our top 3 finishers. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment season opener here for the Truck Series. We're going to run through our final race rundown real quick. Final race results anyway, before we talk to our top 3 finishers. Heath Schneider comes home with a W. Crazy finish between himself and Keegan Sabilo. 15 thousandths of a second in it. Just a tenth of a second back. And in third is Brian Lorenzo. And then Luke Mahone in 4th, Andrew Hale 5th, Jeff No, Tyler Meeks, Sean Bowdy, Nicholas Casey, and John Lucido round out your top 10.
Jason Taylor 11th, Amir Boscom in 12th, Brad Thacker 13th, Robert Wynn 14th, Stephen Plez in 15th, Brian Toole 16th, George Young 17th, EJ DeBoer in 18th, 19th, Larry Fairman, 20th, William Mann Jr.
21st is going to be Gar Schneider, followed by Ray Kennison in 22nd, Dan Hulawig in 23rd, and Anthony Ford in 24th. And then James Harris dominated this thing, man. Led an unbelievable amount of laps. Unfortunately, got caught up in that late race incident to bring out the green-white checkered. Finishes 25th, and Sam Swope finishes 26th, our last of our starters here tonight. Well, this is the time we can talk to our top 3 finishers. Up first, we've got Brian Lorenzo, who came home P3 in his first race here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Brian, do we have a copy? We might not have a copy with Brian. I'm not hearing anything just yet. So we're going to give him a couple seconds here. See if he gets that microphone on. Okay, I think we're going to have to skip Brian Lorenzo. We're just going to go ahead and jump to Brian Britt, who's going to be standing by with Keegan Sabilo.
All right, we got him here in the booth. Keegan, how are you tonight, man? Second place, really close finish.
I'm doing good, buddy. How's it going?
Doing good. I mean, man, that was just a really tight finish. What did you need? I mean, it seemed like you kind of guys got connected out of turn 4, and that kind of slowed you down a little bit. Do you think that was what kind of kept you from being able to maybe lock down that win?
Yeah, it was my fault, though. Going into 3, I was so hard on it side drafting with them. that I think I came down a little bit too far, and we got connected a little bit, and then just kind of going up the racetrack a little bit. And I thought coming in the trial, well, if I'm gonna have a good chance, I'm gonna have to get off of him because I'm not gonna go anywhere. So that's when I got off of him there and just lost some more time. But that was a lot of fun. That was really enjoyable.
Now, we saw early in the race, you seemed like you were struggling a bit, but then you kind of rebounded and had pretty good long-run pace. Was that kind of according to the plan, or were you struggling?
No, that was all according to the plan. That's the kind of the trend and how I tend to run. I'm not the type of guy that likes to send it 3 wide and stuff and go early. Just kind of ride around, save my equipment, and race for it in the long run.
Well, you definitely looked really good out there, Keegan. What's the hopes here for this season? Do you think you're going to have a better chance at getting a title?
Yeah, we were close last year, man. After IRP, when we took the lead, we were close. But yeah, gonna give it our best shot this year. That's the goal always coming into it. I got a goal of winning some more races too, outside of the short tracks. Now I'm trying to win some more races, and but most importantly, we're just here to have a good time, right? And I was just talking. I was all stressed out in there in the Discord channel with Sean Boundy, and he told me on that last restart, you just say I believe. So I guess I gotta believe I'm a championship contender. So that's what my hope is.
Well, we definitely believe it up here in the booth, that's for sure, Keegan. Next week, of course, we're going into more of your comfort zone, Richmond. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, definitely prefer that over this. I don't know, Richmond's it's an okay short track for me. It's not one of my best, but definitely falls into the things that I like to do on the sim here. So I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. I remember when I was a rookie in the series, it was like my second start, and I was able to finish 4th or something at Richmond. So now getting used to how everyone races and everything, maybe this is going to be my chance to go get a win at Richmond and carry off with a win and try and get the point lead. All
right, Keegan. Who can we shout out after your second place finish here tonight?
Yeah, thank you to my sponsors, United States Racing League, Admin Box, Johnson iRacing Team, Just Bosky Designs, After Hours Restorations. Thank you to Dylan Cateau, Dylan Cateau Designs. He put together a paint scheme for me last minute when I was busy, didn't have the opportunity to, neither did my designer. So appreciate him being able to get this car done on the racetrack tonight. Thank you to Sabila Racing Esports, my team. We had our first time driver with us here tonight who races with our team regularly. Ed, also known as EJ DeBoer. So hopefully we'll see him a lot more often. Sean Bounty, always a close friend of mine. Thank you for keeping my mindset in check there for both of them on that last restart, because I was stressed out. I wouldn't have been able to do what I did there without them. And thank you to Champion Power Equipment and all the people that put this thing together, all the admins, and thank you to you guys at Grid Vision for putting together this awesome broadcast. It's a lot of fun.
All right, Keegan, have a great night, man. Congratulations on the second. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you then.
That was Keegan Sabilo. Of course, great drive from him tonight. And I think we're going to try to give Lorenzo another try. And Austin standing by.
Yeah, Brian, you here this time?
Yeah, we're good now.
All righty. Well, congrats on your P3 finish. I believe in your first race ever in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. So big time congratulations. Getting on the podium. You were quick all night. Can you run us through that little mistake that you had on pit road, though? We thought your night might have been over at that point.
Yeah, good night, except the error on pit road. I decided to follow James into pit road. He was on the same strategy as me, where we're trying to pit lap 40, lap 80, to not get undercut by anyone. And I had my brake bias lower than I expected going into it, and usually I can go to like 80% brake and the car will be fine. But since my brake bias was so low and I'm coming in at a high speed, because 3 and 4 is a very fast corner, we're going from like 90% gas down, getting on the brakes to go down pit road, and as soon as I did the same braking technique, got up to 80, rear end just spun out. And then I was trying to get into first, and I kept missing my paddle on my wheel for some reason.
Well, honestly, that mistake just made your top 3 finish look that much more impressive, being able to rebound from it like that. Can you run us through that last green light checkered there? Is there anything that you maybe could have done to find yourself fighting between those top 2 guys that were side by side? They door banged in the middle of 3 and 4. Was there anything you could have done entering 3 to maybe giving yourself a run off of 4?
Honestly, no. Texas there's not really a third line. If it was like Atlanta, for example, like the old Atlanta, I would have just sent it to the top 3rd lane. And just went for it. But I was at that point, I was just like, What I should have done was I should have sent it 3 wide into 1. I actually had a teammate behind me going into 1, and I didn't want to send it. I didn't think I had enough of a run. But looking back at the replay, I definitely should have just sent it 3 wide and just put myself in there. But yeah, going into 3 and 4, I was just like, let me just sit behind. I don't know if you saw how I could have went up to the top and went with the 4. The 4 could have gave me a push, but I decided just to stay down low, just in case the guys make contact and they slide up the track. I just tried to play the long game, and they kept it clean.
Well, Brian, congratulations on the P3 finish here tonight. Great job, starting out the season with top 3, being able to come up here and talk in the broadcast booth. Hopefully this isn't the last time we get to talk to you this year. I imagine not, because you looked crazy quick out there today. I wouldn't be surprised to see you bring home a victory or a checkered flag or 2 here this season. So congratulations. Are there any shout outs you can give here at the end?
Yeah, I got a shout out to my own design brand, Velocity Designs. I make a bunch of paint schemes. I give good prices, and hopefully a lot of people like my paint scheme tonight.
Boy, it looks really, really good. Like that green, that's sharp.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you guys for obviously staying up late with us. I'm glad that we could put on our show. It was a clean race, a clean finish, good way to start out the race as well with that green flag run. So happy to put a show on for you guys, and of course, yeah, again for you guys coming out and streaming. I just think Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring this league. Couldn't do it without them. And thank you to James and the rest of the admins for letting us have fun every Tuesday night. Excited for the rest of the season.
Well, congratulations again, and we're looking forward to seeing you race again next week here at Richmond.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was our P3 finisher, Brian Lorenzo. Next up, we've got our race winner. Brian, do you want to take our race winner? Because I already interviewed him once today, and we're a little messed up with the interview, so would you like to take Heath Snyder this time? I mean, he just won by, a photo finish. This could probably be the easiest interview you've ever given.
Probably is. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it if you're being
go for it.
He's definitely fantastic finish, man. I mean, I'll tell you, it was quite the duel that you had with James Harris. It looked like that wasn't going to be an easy win, and I even when Harris kind of got taken out, it didn't seem like it was still an easy win for you because Keegan Sabilo was working you hard. What was going through your mind there on that last lap?
That was tight. I knew you could hold it wide open in 3 and 4 for a couple laps after the restart until the tires got hot again. So I knew he was going to have a run, but I didn't know he was going to have that much of a run.
Yeah, and he kind of was even talking about how he was trying to side draft you, and it made you tight and led to you guys kind of being having contact there out of 4. Was everything kind of kosher there, or was it just good hard racing?
That was just good hard racing. We were both tight pinching there, and we got together a little bit. It kind of just locked our trucks together, and at that point it was 8 wheels were better than 4, and I think I was able to hold the line a little bit better.
Now, I know when you talked to Austin earlier, you had told him that the car or the truck was looser than you probably had felt before at this racetrack. Did that kind of change as the track cooled down?
That changed a lot over the time of the run, because I think when we started, the track in qualifying was like 116 or something like that, and then like right now the track is 84 degrees, so that's a huge swing. So it definitely tightened up quite a bit.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the handling might have swung your way for sure, but you were really, really quick. How do you feel about the new competition? Because it seems like there's a lot of fast guys that are out there to, now versus last season. I know last season there was definitely still some fast guys, but it seems like there's more of them now.
Well, last season I only showed up for the last race. Justin had sent me an invite. I was in some grid vision races, but I think I only did one champion series. But it's definitely a fun league, and I look forward to running more races here.
Well, I'm sorry for being mistaken. I probably remember seeing you in the Super Speedway League. That's probably what I'm remembering.
Probably so.
Definitely a great job to you, Heath. Great stepping off point for the season, getting yourself a dub. Of course, next week is Richmond. How are you feeling about that? Do you think this momentum's going to carry there?
No. Richmond is one of my least favorite tracks. I am not great there. I can get some decent runs, but I just don't have the pace, like the fire off speed. I'm decent long run because everything kind of balances out, but like if there's a short run there, I'm screwed.
Well, at least you're honest. So we expect to hopefully you'll do better than you probably think. I know a lot of times when people are a little bit hard on themselves. Usually they surprise themselves, so hopefully that'll be the case next week at Richmond. But anybody we can shout out for you there, Heath?
Yeah, I gotta shout out the guys back at Elliott Sadler Esports. Still extremely excited to be part of that team and looking forward to what it brings in the future, definitely with RTP coming up. Then gotta shout out the people on the truck, Bruzy, Don Wheaton, Johan for making an awesome paint scheme. I should be in the correct number next week, just gotta wait for him to get that fixed for me.
All right, well, thanks for your time, Heath, and good. We'll see you next week, and have a great night, buddy.
Yep, also gotta thank you guys on Grid Vision. Happy to have you guys on the truck as well.
All right. That's Heath Snyder, tonight's winner. Austin, what a race.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you to Heath for that quick shout out there. And yeah, I mean, congratulations to him for putting on a banger of a race. Unbelievable finish. I mean, goodness gracious, every turn is just different. I mean, it just blows my mind. I can barely even formulate my thoughts. That finish was just absolutely top tier between him and Keegan Sabilo. There's a little bit of heartbreak in the middle of this with James Harris. I mean, my goodness, I cannot believe the bad luck that this man has at his favorite racetrack. I wouldn't be my favorite if I had this much bad luck. Poor James Harris leading 81 laps on the night. 81 out of 110, wrecked out with 5 laps to go. Ends his chances, but Heath Snyder, that's the story of the night. Unbelievable job from him in his second race here in the series, coming home with the W, setting himself up right for the rest of the season. Brian, we could not ask for a better start to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series season.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. I think this was a fantastic race. I mean, it was exciting from start to finish. I was on the edge of my seat at multiple moments, and I'm so glad to be back in the booth calling it. And none better than you to be calling a race with as well. So I thank you for being an excellent broadcast partner.
Well, the feeling is absolutely mutual, Brian. I'm so excited to be here with you for the entire season, every single Tuesday night. I just cannot wait. I mean, after a race like tonight, how could you not wait until next Tuesday night? And we will be here next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at Richmond. Now, for everybody at Grid Vision, including Brian Britt and Austin Derbyshire, I have been Austin Edstrom. We will see you again next week right here on